Good day, everyone, especially to Ma'am Vicky, our professor. My topic is about linear stages of growth model by two of the famous theorists of these linear stages of growth. They are Wolf, Whitman, Rustow, and Harold and Dumar. So, development theories are the conglomeration of about how desirable change in society is best achieved. Tomorrow and Smith. To start with, let us all know who is Wolf Whitman Rustow. So, according to my research, he is an American economic historian and government official, born October 7 in New York, New York. He was a Rhodes Scholar who taught several prestigious universities in the US and Britain and became well known with the publication of that Stages of Economic Growth and Non-Communist Manifesto in 1960. So here, this is Mr. Wolf Whitman Rustow. I include this picture, of course, for us also to know his image. And then this is a um, presentation of his stages, his very well-known stages of growth. Now, as you can see, there is this arrows going up, representing the 5 stages of his theory. Now, according to him, in an economy of a certain country would not be um, somewhere else on top if without him starting from the beginning of these stages. Okay, so to begin with the stages, the first stage is the traditional society, which states that this is a mostly backward society with no access to science and technology, where most of its resources are dedicated to agriculture use, and agriculture productivity is mostly in subsistence level, and there is limit in market interaction. So we could, in this stage, we could picture out that um, activities of a certain place is somewhat very basic. Let's say, for example, in agriculture, they do the basic techniques, like, for example, literally using only the carabao without any help from a technology or any equipment. So their lives in this stage is they are going to cultivate or to produce something for their consumption only, because due to that situation that they only have these very difficult facilities or very tiresome maybe, um, they will just produce a little. So income of this the economy of the state for this one is too low. And then sometimes if they would like to have a barter, actually they somewhat they don't exchange monetary values in this stage. I think if they want something that is a produced from another, they just barter it. So simple transaction occurs in this stage. So let us come to the stage 2, the preparatory stage. Now here, there is an expansion in output which extends beyond agriculture produce to manufactured goods. As a result of better savings and investments in education, there is more knowledge surrounding the use of the technology in various sectors of the economy. In this stage, there are lower levels of specialization. So, in this stage, somewhat nagsaka na siya ang development, since more on them are already through education, they've come to know of the technology and that they are applying it in the uh, actual scenario in, like, for example, in agriculture. Because of the education they have acquired, so they come out with a technology, then what would they use? So in this stage, somewhat the income of a certain economy is, let us say, there is a leap of, if not so huge, there would be more gains acquired or more gains realized than that of the first stage. So the third stage is the take-off stage. At this stage, revolutionary changes occur in both agriculture and industry to attain a self-sustaining economic growth. There is a great urbanization and rise in human capital accumulation. In this stage, industry somewhat become more popular or gaining a lot than agriculture. Although agriculture is still there because the technology is working with it. And since in industry, like the factories or making of many produce out of the raw materials, that is what they call industry. Um, Many shifted to industry since it gained a lot since the demand for its produce have been increased also. So somewhat we could picture out that at this stage people are on people are on the move to modernization. As Rusto says, this is a note to have adopted the term transition, which describes the process of a traditional economy, that is the stage 1 and 2, becoming a modern one in this stage. Okay, so let's go to, so as Rusto defines it as the period when a society has effectively applied the range of modern technology to the bulk of its resources. So somewhat full force ang technology aning a stage. So the country benefited from the full force of technology on this. And somewhat we could say that economy has risen up from that of the low income earning society and to this one since with the use of technology. Okay. So the fifth stage is the stage of mass consumption. At this stage, a country's demand shifts from food, clothing, and other basic necessities to demand for luxuries. To satisfy this need, the industries involve themselves in production to match consumption. So obviously, we could say that on this stage, somewhat high standard or high income na ang mga tao din here, or the income of the country is somewhat stable, very stable, that the people afforded not just for food, not just for clothing or basic needs. Of course, the demands were focused on luxuries like buying luxury cars, um, branded apparels, so on and so forth. So somewhat the economy is gaining a lot, and the turnover of capital is quite high because people tends to have so much resources, so much money to buy, and then there was industry were diverse, and then we could say that since this is the last stage, so this is the most stable stage of an economy of the country. Okay, so that is the end of the stages under Sir Ralph Rusto. So let us come to the next personality and the theory of linear growth development, which is Harrod and Dumar. So for Harrod and Dumar, economists must save. He put emphasis on save and invest a certain proportion of their income to grow at a certain rate. Failure to develop is caused by the failure to save and accumulate capital. For takeoff to happen, saving must be accumulated. So Harrod and Dumar is emphasizing on savings, which is very important according to them, since as what they said that save and invest certain proportion of their income to grow at a certain rate. Failure to develop is caused by the failure to save and accumulate capital. So again, for takeoff to happen, savings must be accumulated. So according to Harrod and Dumar, there are two. there are two determinants of the rate of growth of a country. First is the first at the looks at the relationship between changes in the capital stock of a country, that is its capital investment, and its output, called the capital output ratio. Now, in simple talking, of course, when we invest on something, of course, we would expect realizing a good output. Now, that is what Harrod and Dumar is saying, that when a country invests on some programs, the ratio of it with its output should be reach a certain level that we could say that the economy of that country is stable. So second is the relationship between savings and national income. So savings, put emphasis on savings and national income, is called the savings ratio, and this shows how much is saved. Now, when we say national income, it would compose a ratio of it is savings. Now, what they're trying to convey to us is that part of that income, there is a percentage, a cut-off percentage that a country should have as savings in order for that country to be stable, the growth economy, or to say the economy of that country is stable. So the model indicates how these two ratios affect the rate of growth. Essentially, the higher the savings ratio, the more economy will grow. And the higher the capital output ratio, the higher the rate of growth. Okay. So, this is the most important this is the most important part of the somewhat the summary of the theory of Harrod and Dumar. So that is the end of my report, my discussion. So here are my references, because these are taken from the internet as my references. Thank you and have a good day.